Stardom is not what it used to be. While having a team or group every now and then, they were very much individual focused. It wasn't until the creation of Queen's Quest that the faction snowball started rolling. I will be going through all of the factions in Stardom currently and talking about the members that make them up. There have been some massive changes to the factions lately, many betrayals, and many retirements. Currently, every single Stardom signed wrestler is a part of one of 5 factions. The factions are Orotai, Queen's Quest, Stars, Tokyo Cyber Squad, and Donna Del Mundo. I will be covering them in reverse order of creation, so the newest faction first and the oldest faction last. Starting with Donna Del Mundo, the newest faction, and the smallest faction. It has only 3 members, only one of them being signed to Stardom. The faction was created in 2020 during a Just Tap Out show. It wasn't until later that they added their 3rd member and created the name. According to people, the name itself is actually grammatically incorrect, as it's supposed to mean women of the world, but actually means woman of the world instead. The pattern seems to be women of mixed ethnicities, as 2 of the 3 women are confirmed not full Japanese, but one of the members has a lot of their info about them secret or private, so we can't know for sure if that is the actual premise or theme behind the faction. Starting the members off is Giulia. Giulia trained and debuted in Ice Ribbon and apparently was being groomed to be the next big thing for the company from my understanding. Late 2019, she announced she was leaving the promotion and joining Stardom. Unfortunately, it seemed that was misguided, as she was still under contract with Ice Ribbon and their parent company. After a long controversy, she was free of her old promotion and started wrestling in Stardom to great success. She came in like an avalanche and would not be stopped. She quickly became one of the top women in the promotion in terms of placement on the card. She started this faction by recruiting Maika and later having Syuri join. She is one to keep an eye on though, as she is still pretty new to wrestling and has a lot of potential. She really shines when she is having a gritty and violent match, as her smoothness in the ring needs work. When the match is a brawl, that isn't highlighted, making her seem very great. The next member is Maika, signed to Just Tap Out. She was trained by Taka Michinoku and made a name for herself as a super rookie in that promotion. She made a name for herself in Stardom by challenging Utami Hayashishita for the Future of Stardom title. She is kind of a surprise, as her size and frame makes her look like a power wrestler, but where her true passion lies is in technical wrestling. She wants to be a highly skilled technical wrestler like Zack Sabre Jr. She is looking like she is going to be Giulia's regular partner in Stardom, as Syuri tends to miss more shows than her. She is also the lowest on the totem pole when it comes to Donna Del Mundo. They recently got their first loss, and Maika was the one who took the pin. So for the foreseeable future, expect any loss of Donna Del Mundo's to be from Maika taking the pin. The last member, but certainly not the weakest, is Syuri, the veteran of the group. She is also the muscle of the faction, as she is more protected and skilled than the other 2. She is an absolute monster in the ring, by far one of the most skilled workers in Stardom right now. She is the member most likely to miss a show though, as she is a freelancer and works many other promotions. When she is there though, she tends to wreck house in the ring. This does come with a downside, as she really hasn't had time or opportunity to form some kind of connection with another wrestler in Stardom, like so many others do. The closest would be her little old guard versus new generation thing she has going on with Momo Watanabe. She is respectful and very easygoing, but once in the ring, she will tear your head off. She pulls from her very real fighting experience, doing legit MMA for many years, even having a short stint in UFC. With Donna Del Mundo being the newest group, they are being portrayed as very dominant. You can expect them to be winning most matches they are involved in for a good chunk of this year. Next, we have our Cyber Goth Misfits, the Tokyo Cyber Squad. This group of crazies were actually formed against most of their top members' wills. During last year's Stardom draft, Hana Kimura recruited Jungle Kyona and Konami, shaking things up tremendously. While Jungle had some reservations in the beginning, everyone seemed on board pretty quickly. Hana Kimura wanted to create a group that cherished and celebrated individuality instead of conformity. They would be pretty dominant for a while, but then things kind of normalized out. The two powerhouses of the faction are definitely Jungle Kyona and Konami, carrying most of the power of the group. Their original name was International Army, but changed it after the draft because most members were actually Japanese. The creator and leader is Hana Kimura, daughter of retired wrestler Kyoko Kimura. She joined Stardom after having trained and debuted in Wrestle 1, after a couple years of working with Stardom unsigned. She hasn't won any of the big titles yet, but you can expect something to happen in the next year or two. She is really well loved by people because of her vicious style, great looks, and mesmerizing charisma. She has a lot to learn for in-ring skills, as she is still not amazing in the ring. Expect great things from her in her career as she is on a fast path to greatness. Next is Jungle Kyona, ex-leader of Jungle Assault Nation. After her faction was disbanded by the 2019 Stardom draft, she was recruited by Hana. At first, she was hesitant on wanting to be in the group, but soon after shifted into a more agreeable tone. Jungle is, for now, Stardom's #1 power wrestler, but not because of achievements, but because of skills and ability to connect with the crowd. If you are a Jungle fan, you are in for a sad life, as she never wins the big matches. It wouldn't be unfair to call her the gatekeeper to the upper card. Many people have moved up after a phenomenal singles match against this woman. She is able to lift anyone into a match of the year contender, and every match she loses makes you support her more. She has the insane ability to never win big, but gain even more support because of it. It's a rare ability to have. Jungle Kyona is one of the most respected wrestlers in the promotion, being one of the few that actually had a career before wrestling. She even did volunteer work in Senegal, where she almost died. Talk to most Stardom fans, and while she might not be their favorite, most, if not all, would agree that they want to see her win a singles belt at least once. Next is Konami, the most skilled in-ring performer of the faction in terms of technical ability. She is pretty much unmatched in technical ability now that Kagetsu has retired. Every time she is in the ring, she so clearly outmatches whoever she is grappling with, easily able to maneuver into a new submission from almost any position. Most of her career in Stardom she was unsigned, so she wasn't very involved. She would participate very rarely in the matches, leading to jokes that she was an unmotivated wrestler. She used to be a part of Queen's Quest, but was stolen during the 2019 draft. She immediately turned on her old teammates, much to a lot of people's confusion, as there hadn't been any sign or build to her resentment. This is where Konami's biggest weakness really shined, the entertainment part of wrestling. Her skills in the ring are amazing, but her ability to tell a story or show some charisma was severely lacking. I say was because she has really improved with her time in Tokyo Cyber Squad. While her ability to tell a story is still in the air, her charisma and presence has skyrocketed. The biggest thing about TCS is that almost all of the members have benefited greatly from joining, and I think the biggest success story is Konami. Next, we have Death Yama-San. She is not signed to Stardom, but has been a mainstay for years. Before being recruited into TCS, she went by Kaori Yoniyama. She is an incredibly talented veteran in the industry. You don't get to see much of it in Stardom, as she tends to be somewhat of a catch-all for them. If they need someone to get pinned by a lower card, she can do that. If they need someone to pin a higher card, she can do that. Her death persona was created after joining TCS and has been capturing people's hearts and laughs ever since. Now we are moving on to the young wrestlers in the faction. First we have Rina, who is one of the three sisters in Stardom. After the last draft, the three sisters were separated and Rina was drafted to TCS. She has become somewhat of a mini Hana, emulating her and dressing like her, even adopting moves from Hana's moveset. She has become much better since her introduction, but her being so young justifies her slow build. Last is Ruka, who is someone who had a lot of potential. She has the height and build to one day be a great monster wrestler, but her shyness and timidness tends to overshadow that. She is in and out of the ring often, barely being in most of the shows. Many believe that if she doesn't change something soon, she isn't going to amount to much in the ring. Next, we have Stars, and Stars is what many consider the babyface faction. While Stardom really doesn't do face or heel mechanics, they are the closest thing to that. They are made up of all of the idol-like cute wrestlers. Idol-like in appearance for most, and a couple actually portray themselves that way as well. Even though they are technically the faces of the promotion, they are not all good. They cheat and take advantage of situations like every other faction. The difference is that they do it slightly less and are portrayed as good, unlike the other factions. Stars was created in 2018 when Mayu Iwatani decided to create her own group. The process was slow and confusing. Many didn't know if they were actually a group or not until much later. Originally, they were called Stardom's Army, and later changed their name to Stars. They are the merch sellers of the company, usually having the biggest lines after the show. The leader and creator of the group is Mayu Iwatani. She is the top dog in Stardom, being there from the very beginning and never leaving. She is the only one of the old guard to still be around. She is insanely talented and pretty much a wrestling genius. She didn't start that way though, as she was nothing special in her first couple of years. She worked hard and unleashed her talent for wrestling. Through her career, she has always been overshadowed by Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, making her third place by default, no matter what she did or achieved. It wasn't until those two left that she took her spot on top. She is a ditzy klutz that you are surprised she can even function. Once she steps into the ring though, she transforms into a wrestling god. Mayu is well known for her bumping and selling ability, widely being considered one of the best in the world, man or woman. Next we have Arisa Hoshiki. To a lot, she is Stardom's best striker, and I agree. She originally debuted along Stardom just like Mayu did, but left. She made her return in 2018 though. Before leaving, she made a name for herself for her violent and crisp kicks. The same is true to this day. Out of all of the strikers in Stardom, she is the most versatile, while also holding this cleanness across the board with her kicks. While others may kick harder, she is the most solid. When she came back, she was extremely rusty, but has since shed that off and is in top form again. She has made a name for herself with her white belt run, which started rocky with a not very good match. After, almost every defense she has had has been amazing, particularly the ones against Tam, Hazuki, and Jungle. Next, we have Tam Nakano, the most amazing person in Stardom. Everything this woman does is just pure gold. I'm not talking about just in-ring ability either. She knows Kung Fu, she is a certified pyrotechnician, and is an ex-idol. She is an overachiever that is almost single-handedly becoming Stardom's top PR representative. You will rarely find someone who has something bad to say about Tam. Whether they are fans of her in-ring work, her modeling, her YouTube streams, or just all of them together, there is no shortage of reasons to support her. Her in-ring abilities are nothing to scoff at either. She is incredibly talented, able to add flair and flashiness to her striking style. Where she really shines though is when she is telling a story. She is the best storyteller in Stardom, and almost every storyline or rivalry she has been a part of has been one of the best. Next we have Starlight Kid. She, as you can probably tell, is incredibly popular. Huge merch seller and really talented in the ring. She pretty much has everything down, and she just graduated high school. Many see her as the future of Stardom, and they wouldn't be wrong. It's hard to see her incredible skill for her age and not think she only has up to go from here. She is also the only masked wrestler in Stardom, as she keeps her identity a secret. She is the internal rival of Azumi, since she started so young and was skilled beyond her years. The only one she could realistically compete with was Azumi. Through the years, they had built up an amazing rivalry, and that is filled with respect and competitiveness. With her out of high school and looking like she is going full-time with wrestling, I would say expect some big things out of her in the coming years. Next, we have Saya Ida, Star's resident gorilla. Out of everyone in Stars, Saya is by far the most different. Not having the typical pretty girl look, she instead rocks an incredibly muscled body. She is also the shortest person on the roster, and with an ever-growing average of height, she looks smaller and smaller as the days go on. That doesn't stop her though, as she has really had an upsurge of talent lately, really coming into her own and standing out. Her intensity in the ring really helps her here, as she is still technically newish and her moveset is pretty limited. Where she lacks in experience, she makes up for in intensity. You watch just one of her matches and you will see why people like her. Everything she does has this feeling that she is putting everything behind it. Next, we have Itsuki Hoshino, Star's bundle of nerves in human form. Seriously, this woman is incredibly nervous all the time. Watch anything with her in it, and you will most likely say, man, she looks like she's about to either cry or throw up. Don't let that stop you from supporting her though, as it's incredibly endearing. Her nervousness makes you want to support her more. I'd recommend anyone go watch the mini documentary of her taking her professional wrestling test to see just how nervous she is. There is a moment where the camera cuts and finds her curled up behind the ring, just straight up crying while waiting for the results of the test. She is still new and a rookie, so don't expect too much out of her in terms of in-ring ability right now, but she shows a lot of promise, and even pulled out a Hurricane Rana on her first match. Next, we have Hanan. Many of you might not even know who this is, unfortunately, as she has been sidelined for almost a year. Originally, she was injured, but then never came back. She has been active again now, though, as her tests to get into high school are over. She should be making a return fairly soon. She is the eldest of the three sisters and was progressing very well before her injury, so look forward to her return. Next, we have Queen's Quest, and Queen's Quest is the youngest averaged aged group in Stardom, averaging at the time of this video at 18.6 years old. Them being the youngest doesn't mean they are the weakest though, as some of the most vicious and hard-hitting people in the promotion are in this faction. They are a bunch of genius wrestlers who want to be the best. They are very individualistic in the sense that they tend to allow their teammates to sink or swim on their own, requiring everyone to pull their own weight. They have softened up over the years, especially after the creator Io Shirai left, but they are still dangerous. Starting with their current leader, Momo Watanabe, she took over leadership after Io Shirai left for the WWE. Her career really went crazy when she beat Io for the white belt, and have an absolutely legendary reign with it, proving that she deserved her new position in the company. She can be incredibly hard-hitting and vicious, as she tends to flip a switch sometimes in the ring. Murder Momo is what I like to call it when she just goes into killer mode. Already at such a young age, she is being considered one of the best in the industry, able to put on amazing big matches that put you on the edge of your seat. She has this presence that makes you see her as larger than life. Unfortunately, she has been in the backseat right now, as others are getting their time to shine. But with her popularity and her skills, she will make a comeback. She is pretty much guaranteed to hold the red belt sometime in the next 2 years. Next, we have Queen's Quest's true leader, Azumi. Now, this may be confusing, but Azumi is the actual leader of Queen's Quest, with Momo being the on-paper leader. The reason for this is that Azumi is the senpai of Stardom, only being beaten by Mayu in terms of seniority. Even at her young age, she is the second most experienced person in the promotion, started training when she was 9 years old and debuted when she was 11. She is an amazing talent. The things she does for her age is mind-blowing, and newcomers tend to immediately be drawn to her because of her quick style, great talent, and foul mouth. That's right, she is also super disrespectful to the older wrestlers, usually calling them names like grannies. Next, we have Utami Hayashishita, who joined after winning the tag league with Momo in 2018. When she debuted, she was being pushed as a super rookie, and it was definitely deserved. Up till that point, the rookies of Stardom were nothing too special right away, but with time they grew strong. Utami was great from day one. In her debut match, she went to a time limit draw with Jungle Kyona. Then she went on to go to the finals of that year's 5-star Grand Prix. She went on to hold 4 belts at the same time and became a triple Stardom champion. Her very powerful presence and strength makes her feel like she towers over everyone. Her potential has not even begun to start though. She's already compared to and in the same league as some of the top wrestlers. Giving her a few more years, and she is going to be a superstar. Next, we have Saya Kamitani, the newest member of Queen's Quest. Saya Kamitani joining was something of a surprise to people, as they thought she was destined to be in Stars. We are glad to be wrong though, as when people join Queen's Quest, they do not fail to improve. Kamitani is kind of like the opposite of Utami, in a way. Kamitani is a super rookie a lot like Utami was, but on a lesser scale. Kamitani is not playing with the mid and top card already, but she is clearly being put above all of the other rookies with a significant gap. The reason I'm comparing her to Utami is that Kamitani looks up to Utami as like an idol. Even though their styles could not be any more different, Kamitani is one of the most flippy and flashy wrestlers on the roster, boasting a Pele kick and a running shooting star press already. She has literally everything she needs to one day be a legend in the industry. She is young, she's cute, she has an incredible talent, and she has charisma. The only thing stopping her right now is experience and bouncing back after making a big mistake. It's only been one time, but when she makes a big mistake in the ring, she tends to spiral down instead of bouncing back during the match. That most likely is just an experience thing though. Last we have the youngest member, Hina, and the last of the 3 sisters. She was the shyest and most timid of the 3 sisters before joining Queen's Quest by being drafted in the 2019 draft. She has improved a lot since joining, but still lacks in the charisma department. Her being so young helps though, as no one expects her to really improve like crazy or anything. She has a lot of potential though, just like her sisters. Next is Odo Tai. Odo Tai is the promotion's heel group, and the oldest group as well. There are currently no original members left in Odo Tai, currently being made up of an entirely new people. Odo Tai has went through some changes over the years, going from a foreigner-based heel group to a bunch of lovable rapscallions to their current, more darker feel. When watching an Odo Tai match, you can be sure to see a lot of cheating, interference, and tomfoolery. They have ups and downs in terms of dominance, but their current roster of members seems to be pretty strong. The current leader of Odo Tai is Natsuko Tora. Natsuko has had some crazy paths across her career, starting off as a small skinny rookie, then becoming a power wrestler under the tutelage of Jungle Kyona, and then turning on her with Odo Tai. It wasn't until Kagetsu, Odo Tai's previous leader, retired, that the reins were passed over to Natsuko. While some might think that she isn't ready for this, she has shown some great changes in herself in the past, which makes us believe she can definitely back it up now. She seems to be taking a backseat leader approach though, much like her predecessor did, allowing the other faction members to be the mouthpiece. The next member is Natsu Sumire, the person who has been in the faction the longest out of all of the current members. She is not signed to Stardom but is a freelancer. She is at pretty much every single Stardom show though, so there isn't any reason to not get behind her if you only watch Stardom. She is a comedy wrestler of the promotion, constantly doing silly antics and making everyone laugh. While she is a comedy wrestler, that doesn't mean her skills are lacking. She is fairly decent when it comes to in-ring ability. You just don't really get to see it very often. Usually when Odo Tai are doing some antics, Sumire will be right in the middle. Next, we have Saki Kashima, one of the newer members. She is one of the people who was a part of Stardom when it first started, but left. She returned in 2018 and has been killing it ever since. She is an exceptionally talented in-ring wrestler, with only one weakness: presence and charisma. It didn't matter what position she was in, she could pull out some kind of move. She is truly fun to watch. Like many other wrestlers, her joining a new faction helped her shine. Odo Tai has done wonders for her. She has come into what we can only assume is her true self, as she was acting the whole time she was in Stars. There were hints that Saki wasn't this nice, sweet person that she was portrayed in Stars, but it wasn't until she portrayed Mayu Iwatani that her true colors shone through. She is now hell-bent on torturing Mayu, as she hates everything Mayu stands for. She wants to destroy her. Next, we have Bea Priestley, one of the newest members as well. She is a foreigner who is signed to Stardom. She was originally in Queen's Quest before betraying them to join her friend Jamie Hayter in Oodotai. She is a very polarizing figure who has as many people who hate her as people who like her. She has been a part of many controversies over the years, and she has bounced back from every single one of them. She has gotten a lot better since her original run in Stardom, which still leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, unfairly, and has become something of a powerhouse in the Joshi scene. Lastly, we have Jamie Hayter, the other main foreigner of Oodotai. Unlike Bea, she isn't signed though. Jamie is an incredibly talented wrestler who is able to make crowds love her. Everywhere she goes, she tends to get many cheers, as her charisma is insane. She is also an incredibly physical wrestler. Most of her moves have an explosiveness to them that others rarely match. So there you go. All 5 factions and their members. Stardom has really grown lately, and there is tons of variety for everyone to enjoy now. Out of the 21 signed wrestlers, and many regular outsiders, there is at least one person for everyone to connect to. As always, I'm going to end this video with a shout out to all of my patrons. I said that I would only shout out a new patron the first time, like for the first video after. Well, all of my videos since I've been getting patrons have all been reviews, and I kind of felt a little bad about that because my reviews don't get nearly as many views as like my other videos like this. So I'm just going to say everyone here, starting now, like after now, I'm going to be saying them after the first payout, not when they first pledge, because apparently you can like pledge to someone and like it won't take the money until like the end of the month or something like that. And I could see that could get abused by people to try to get shout outs to like pledge, and then I will shout them out in my video, but then like cancel their pledge before any money gets taken out, just to make it fair to people who are actually willing, you know, to spend money. I'm going to make sure starting now that anybody who pledges has to wait until the first payout to get their shout out. I feel like that's fair. And so for this time, and this will be the last time I shout out 2 of these people, at least for this month. I don't know if I'm going to do like a shout out each month or something, but there's Smack It Down Podcast, and then Miss Solar, and then a new one, Justin Herenis. I'm not really sure exactly how to pronounce that. I tried looking it up on Google Translate and having them say it to me, and I get that's how they said it. So yeah, thank you all. I'm really glad. Thank you so much. Thank you, Justin. I don't know if I know you or not. I don't know if like you're a part of the Discord or anything like that, or if you're just one of my viewers. Regardless, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's very nice and sweet of you. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.